Everything that you have in your life, everything that's happening to you in your life, is a direct reflection of how you predominantly think and feel about yourself. This is not a campaign to blame you for all the negative things that's happened to you, but I do want to let you know that all things that's happened to you, both negative and positive, are a reflection of the way we think and subsequently feel internally, our general predominant internal climate. I was talking to a friend and she was basically saying to me that she's been feeling terribly lately. Her work, the businesses that she's getting is just draining her, and things just seem to be getting worse, right? And she's just not making the money that she knows she should be making. She's having to work hard for less pay, and she's just in this general state of discontentment with her work. And my advice to her was, life meets us at our own value. I heard this from Louise Hayes, I believe she said it on one of her tapes, but life responds to us where we are. And where are we? We are the summation of our thoughts and feelings that we allow to fester in there. And how we feel about certain things end up influencing how that thing manifests or how that thing behaves in our outer reality. So let's start with our thoughts. So I've noticed there are essentially two types of thoughts. There are the solicited thoughts and unsolicited thoughts. Is that how I categorize them? So your solicited thoughts are the thoughts that you are generating. So right now, if I say to you, think, hello, my name is, say your name. Now you're doing it. You're actively generating the thought of, hello, my name is Richard, inside. That is an active solicited thought. You want it, you've created it, you've projected it into your mindscape. Now, the second type is the unsolicited thought. This one we're very well aware of, right? So even as you're listening to this content right now, you will have random thoughts come into your head. Thoughts about food, thoughts about what you're doing right now, what you're going to do next, thoughts about if this even makes sense to you, why am I even listening to this? You haven't chosen these. They're just coming into your mind, they're just flooding in. And if I say something that is triggering, or that you've heard before by a bully or someone who's made you feel bad, then whatever I've said to you will trigger a thought inside of you like, why is this saying that? Is this true? And then it will start to trigger feelings out of you. And these feelings now start to colour your internal landscape. So that's the connection between your thoughts and your feelings. There are two types, the ones that you're generating and the ones that you're not generating. They're just coming in out of nowhere and we don't know where they're coming in from. Okay? Now the next thing we want to talk about are feelings. Not emotions, feelings, because there's a difference. And if you don't know, feelings are the child or the accompanying element of our thoughts, and our emotions are inner guidance. It's a general climate inside that guide us to what's right or what's wrong, or what feels safe or what doesn't feel safe, or these things, right? That's the difference. Feelings come from thoughts. You think something and then you have a feeling as a result of that thought. You think something nice and positive, you feel nice and positive. You think something negative about yourself or about someone else, you feel this feedback again. Again, these are feelings. They're the direct results of our thoughts. And now the last element that makes up our internal landscape is our beliefs. Now, all beliefs are simply the thoughts and feelings that you have practiced. And you've been practicing a few thoughts and feelings consciously and unconsciously. Majority has been done unconsciously. The things you believe about yourself, the things you believe about your worth, the things you believe about what you can do in the world. These were thoughts that have been practiced that you were not aware of. If someone made you feel unworthy of love, or that you were too much, whatever it is, this starts happening inside of you. over and over and over again, subconsciously, until it becomes a belief. The moment you're in a position where you're in the same vicinity as this topic, where love and worth is contextual, your inner belief system kicks in around how you've practiced to be in that situation. You will project your belief onto that which is outside of you and manipulate it to confirm your beliefs. We see this a lot with people who unfortunately might have some low self-esteem or might be experiencing self-esteem issues. Life always matches, it always brings to us events that match who we are on the inside, what we're thinking, what we're feeling predominantly on the inside. Once you say enough and you start to change your internal beliefs about yourself, you start to work on yourself, you start to treat yourself kindly, take the time to love and know yourself, then you're practicing the new thoughts and the accompanying feelings of wellness and safety. You practice this over and over again, you'll notice that when you go back out to date, the people you date change. If you're in an abusive relationship, it is because some way deep inside yourself, you're already abusing yourself. Every time you speak negatively about yourself, every time you say, I can't do this, I don't deserve this, it doesn't happen to people like me, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not young enough. Every time you use these negative thoughts as weapons against yourself, this is a form of self-abuse. When it comes to business, the exact same principle is at law. The exact same principle is at work. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in the value that you're providing, if you believe in your ability to grow something from scratch, if you believe that I don't care how long it takes, I don't care how hard it is, I'm going to keep working until I get to my finished goal. And in the times when things look like they're falling apart, you tell yourself it's okay, just keep working, keep working. This is a thought, you're generating it. This is your solicited thoughts. You're choosing to think these thoughts. And that becomes your new belief. And there will come a time where the belief is strong enough that your external reality will then mirror that. That's why you work super, super hard and it feels like you've worked for 10 years behind the scenes, and then one day everything comes together and you're like, oh my God, success comes little by little and then all at once. If you've only ever earned a certain amount of money your entire life, or your family, your parents only ever earned a particular amount, everyone around you, your friends are in a particular socioeconomic band. The idea of dreaming about being a multimillionaire, for example, it's so foreign to you because everything around you has allowed you to think that this is what I too can earn. But the moment you actually meet someone or you hear a story of someone who is just like you, comes from the same background you have, who's now in a different socioeconomic band, they've worked hard, they've created value through business, through service, whatever it is, and you see yourself in that journey, you started a new thought process of, if he can do it, I can do it. He's not any different than me. I'm smarter than this person. So why am I not making that money? Usually people that make these jumps in their income, they go through this metamorphosis, this change of, why can't I do this? And then they begin the process of believing by practicing thoughts of abundance, of I deserve more, I need more, I'm going to get more money, I'm going to leave this job, I'm going to apply for a new job, and I'm going to get X amount. And it doesn't actually matter what you choose to think. That's the biggest part that completely changed my life, really, is your thoughts and your beliefs can be as big and as small as you choose. And you think this over and over and over and over again, even when everything around you doesn't support this thought, but you think it and you feel it in your body. You feel like, well, what would it feel like to make 500k a year? We attract to us people, circumstances, events that match our internal landscape. And our internal landscape is made up predominantly of our thoughts, the accompanying feelings to those thoughts, and the beliefs that form as a result of these thoughts and beliefs being practiced and repeated over and over again. Life responds to you. Life meets you where you are internally. You get to choose the quality of your life. You get to choose the quality of your partners, how much money you make, where you live, how you want to feel every day. You get to choose that by the thoughts and feelings that you choose to practice. Choose better feeling thoughts today.